Hey, what's up, you guys? The Dark Center back with another video, and today we're going to take a look at the Marvel Legends series, Spider-Man 2, Gamerverse, Venom. Before we get started, I'd like to ask you guys if you feel so inclined to please like and subscribe. It really does help my channel, and it's absolutely free. Take a look at the packaging over here, and we can see it is a pretty darn big box. It's got the same similar style to the other Spider-Man 2 figures, except it's at a much bigger scale over here. You got Marvel Legends series at the top, Warning, Venom, Spider-Man 2, Gamerverse, along with the big window box with the Spider-Man logo in the background. At the side over here, you got the window box continuing along, Marvel Legends series to the top, Venom, a picture of Venom over there, and the other side over here, you got that same picture of Venom. Gamerverse, you got Marvel Legends series at the bottom. At the back over here, we got a nice big image of Venom going off against Miles Morales and Peter Parker. Marvel Legends series, got a little bio for Venom there. If you want to read it, you're going to pause it now. At the bottom, we got a bunch of other warnings and legalese. At the top, you got a big Gamerverse logo. At the bottom, a bunch of other legalese in this one corner with all this white space going on. And then you do have the UPC code there. All right, so Venom. Venom was pretty awesome in the Spider-Man 2 video game. I will say, like I've said it before with my other Spider-Man 2 reviews, that I wasn't that big of a fan of the game. I thought that it was good. I just don't think it really lived up to the previous one. So the first like Spider-Man that was on the PlayStation 4. But you know, I really enjoyed it for what it was, and it was great to see Venom as the main villain inside of this game. Although, like, I feel like that the best, iteration of Venom when it came to gaming, at least in my opinion, you can let me know yours in the comments below. But it was in Spider-Man Web of Shadows, and that I just remember playing that like upon hours and hours, and it was just such a cool and unique take for Venom. You know, obviously it was made out to be more of like a zombie apocalypse game. Just everyone was venomized with the symbiote, but it was just it makes the character such it brings him to such a grander scale, and I don't know. There's just something about that, just like the dreadfulness of it. It was just so cool, and it was cool to see, like, they kind of paid tribute to it a little bit in this game over here as well. But nonetheless, this design for Venom is so freaking cool, and I'm really glad to have it action figure form over here, even though it's a couple years late. What's up with that, Hasbro? As for accessories over here, we can see that he does come with a pretty fair amount. We got two fisted hands over here, along with two open hands. As for the open hands, one's a little bit more open than the other. And then you do have an extra hand piece that is, I guess, supposed to mimic him like grabbing another character with his tendrils. So I do think that is a pretty cool effect, although I have noticed upon posing it that it does make the arm a little weak. Just a small note there, but nonetheless, pretty cool accessory. I love the addition of that. Very creative, Hasbro. And then you do also get two extra heads over here. One just has the closed mouth. He's looking like he's just heard a funny joke or something like that. And then the other has him mouth open, tongue out, ready to eat a few human brains. And then obviously it does come with a bit of like a drool kind of piece, which I think is just such a cool addition of it. You can just stick it inside of the mouth just like so, and it looks like he is just salivating for his next meal. As for the figure itself over here, I do think Hasbro did a pretty darn good job with the details of this. Even though it's a mainly black looking figure, they have this nice like shiny plastic texture that's going on throughout it. So it makes it look like the figure is wet, which is something that you should really do for a Venom action figure. But as we already looked at the head sculpt over here, I think they did a really good job. The paintwork seems pretty clean on it, and it's just on black, so it looks very striking, which is great. And then we did take a look at the other head, but I do think this is my favorite head out of the two, with all the slobber coming out. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And with the tongue as well too, it brings a little bit of color into the mix. But yeah, very cool looking Venom head sculpt. As for the logo itself over here, I do think they did a pretty good job with it. You can see that there is a little bit of mismarks throughout in there, but from afar, it does look very striking on the black. So it does achieve what, it's going for. And just, I think the logo on this Insomniac design is just so freaking cool. I absolutely love how they picked to do this design. It's not classic Venom, but it flows well with the rest of like the wetness and the symbiotic kind of nature to it. So, yeah, very good job on the logo over here. And for the most part, it doesn't break apart with the articulation. We'll take more of a look at that when we get to that segment. But yeah, the arms over here, you can see the wet kind of like texture going on throughout. Very much does look like a symbiote. I think they did a really good job over here. Unlike some of the other, Spider-Man Gamerverse figures, they didn't really put much texture in the figure, but they did not miss with this one over here. Yeah, this looks really cool, especially with how the light hits it. It's very, very cool. Very, very much looks like a symbiote. But anyway, you got the lower half over here with the Venom butt, which is pretty nice. It's got that same texture going on throughout. And yeah, like just, I love how it hits the light. It was very similar to the black suit Spider-Man, with that being, symbiote around it. They kind of have the same thing going on over here, which is nice. Just the texturing and detail look very cool, except for the feet over here. You can see at the bottom of the feet, you get two peg holes, and that's about it. But the most important piece of all, Venom toes. Look at those Venom toes. As for articulation, I do think Hasbro did a pretty good job over here. The head can move up about there, but it kind of pops off. So about there, you can move down, you can move side to side. There is a bit of pivot going on in there as well too. You do get some arm articulation on a ball joint, so it goes up about there. Paired with the butterfly joint, so you can go down and then you can push it in and push it back out. You can go all the way around. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, which go on about there. And you do get some wrist articulation, which is a swivel and a hinge. You got a diaphragm joint over here, which is also on a ball joint. So you can spin this way and that way, and there's a bit of clicking in there. And you see it does break up, the emblem, obviously, because, if you turn them, it's going to break through there. But I think for the most part, they did a pretty good job with it. But you can turn it that way, this way. You can go up, you can go down, and yeah, you can see it doesn't really break up too much there. And then you do have the waist joint in here, which goes down like that, and then back like that, the waist crunch. And if you want to do them together, go about there. And then if you want to do it together in the back, go pretty far there as well too. And then you got some leg articulation in here, which is a kick up to about there. You can kick back and on an angle. You do have the splits going on over here, so it's about there. Then you do get some thigh swivel action, so for both legs, that's pretty good. You got double jointed knees, which move in about that far, not too bad. And you do get another swivel at the boot. So this is what, this is what I like to see, because it helps with the ankle and toe or foot articulation. But then, going in with the foot, you can move down about that much. You can move it back around there. And then you do have an ankle pivot, which is great, along with a toe hinge. So pretty cool. And as for comparison today, I think that this can tell the sheer size of this figure in comparison to Marvel Legends figures, at least. Are we going to get 19 inches of Venom today? I would like to know that. But we have it compared here to the Miles Morales Spider-Man, Gamerverse Spider-Man on the left, and on the right is the symbiote Peter Parker Spider-Man, or the black suit Peter Parker Spider-Man. And yeah, obviously in the game, he was very tall, and he's also very tall among these action figures, so that's great to see. But will we get 19 inches of Venom? Unfortunately not, but you do get, it's kind of in the glare of the light right there, about 10 inches. Not bad, 10 inches of Venom. All right, so final thoughts on this Venom action figure. You know what? I went into this figure, obviously, like, this is a very late review for this figure, and it's because I don't know about spending for Canada up here. Marvel Legends do usually cost us more, at least for the Canadian dollar, than in the States. So for anyone watching the States, just to break this down, this figure, when it originally went up for price, it was $80. $80. Some places were selling it for 90. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know if I'd pay $80 to $90 for this figure. It is a pretty damn good figure, and it's pretty big. But I ended up getting it at more of a sale, which ended up costing around $60 Canadian. So It wasn't that bad, but I really liked the design of this figure, and I really liked the design of it in the video game, and I think that this was a really good representation of that. But it is, just warning here, it is mainly, black action figure. So, there's not too much color going on with it, but if you like the Venom design, I think that they pretty much knocked it out of the park over here. The texture on it is absolutely fantastic. It's the same kind of texture that they used for the Peter Parker black suit Spider-Man. So, and even in some ways, it's a little bit better. So I do think that it definitely does capture that symbiote look. The size of it is huge. And, there's always that joke going on about, oh yeah, 19 inches of Venom. It's a massive Venom, and it's a massive Venom figure in comparison to Marvel Legends. So, it depends on how you like your Venom size. Do you like your Venom bigger or smaller? I think bigger is pretty cool, but just, be prepared for that because it's going to take up a lot of your display space. So there's that about the sheer size. The accessories are pretty cool. I absolutely love the addition of the sort of like tendril grabbing accessory, even though, you know, it's kind of hard for him to keep his arm up. If you keep it in a pose where he's like holding up the figure for a long period of time, the arm is going to eventually give out. And yeah, I think Hasbro has some QC issues going on over there with that. But yeah, the accessories are pretty cool. I like the addition of the two different heads, and having a fist for hands, and then open hands for hands, and then also the articulation in this is not too bad as well. I've noticed in the game he does get into a lot of like crouching poses, and you're able to achieve that with this figure. So I think they did a pretty good job there as well too. So yeah, like it's all around a great action figure, especially if you really like the Insomniac's Venom design. It's a really cool representation for, especially at more of the. It's not exactly cheap, but it's around the cheaper price being Marvel Legends. As for rating, for the price point I got it at, I would probably rate it around a 7 to 8 out of 10. But for the original price point being the $80 Canadian and $60 USD, I would probably stick with closer to a 6 out of 10. Yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And this figure is kind of, it's kind of old at this point. It's been almost a year old by now, but I got it off of a sale, and I thought it would be great to take a look at it because, it is a pretty striking piece. I do really like what Hasbro has done over here. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. And as every YouTuber begs you to do, please like and subscribe. And hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.